So is everyone up to speed? Yeah. We'll read page 264. Both page 264 and 265 are stories. Yeah, so this can go pretty quickly. Yeah, so we'll read like one page at a time. Who's going to start?
Vasistha continued, in this connection, O Rama, there is an instructive parable which I shall presently narrate to you. There is a wood apple fruit which is immeasurably large and which does not decay or perish, though it has existed for countless aeons. It is the source and support of the nectar of immortality and indestructibility. It is the abode of sweetness. Though it is most ancient, it is ever new, like the new moon. It is the very center or heart of the universe. It is unmoving, and it is not shaken even by the forces of cosmic resolution. This wood apple fruit, which is immeasurably large, is the original source of this creation. Even when it is fully ripe, it does not fall from its place. It is forever fully ripe, but it does not become overripe. Even the Creator, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, and the other gods do not know the origin of this wood apple fruit. No one has seen the seed nor the tree on which this fruit grows. The only thing that can be said about it is that this fruit exists, without beginning, without middle, and without end, without change and without modification. Even within this fruit, there is no diversity. It is completely full, without emptiness. It is the fountain source of all joys and delights, from the delight of an ordinary man to that of the highest of divinities. Thus, this fruit is none other than the manifestation of the energy of infinite consciousness. This energy of the infinite consciousness, without even for a moment abandoning its creation, as it were, by merely willing it in its own intelligence. In fact, even this, that is wisdom, is not really true. The ego sense that is implied in such willing is itself unreal. But out of this have proceeded all the elements and their corresponding subjective senses. In truth, that energy of the infinite consciousness itself is space, time, natural order. Expansion of thought, attraction and repulsion, I-ness, you-ness, and it-ness, above, below, and other directions, the mountains, the firmament, and the stars, knowledge and ignorance. All whatever is, was, and ever will be. All that is nothing but the energy of the infinite consciousness. Thou it is one, it is conceived of all diverse beings. It is neither one nor many. It is not even it. It is established in reality. It is of the nature of supreme, all-inclusive peace. It is the one immeasurably great cosmic being or self. It is cosmic energy or the nature of cosmic consciousness.
Okay. In this connection, O Rama, there is an instructive parable which I shall presently narrate to you. So it's just an analogy. Whatever we have done till now, it's like a little summary, in short, describing the Brahman consciousness. There is a wood apple fruit which is immeasurably large and which does not decay or perish, though it has existed for countless eons. Yeah, so it is calling the Brahman consciousness that wood apple fruit. Yeah. It has existed forever, but it does not perish. Because you and I are Prakriti, we understand only that which is Prakriti. And sooner or later, whatever the Prakriti is, whether it is an apple or fruit in your fridge, which will perish in a couple of days, or it is a metal, like iron, gold, silver, these will take eons according to us. We will die, but that metal will still be alive. We will die, but the house will still be alive. But still we have an understanding that maybe another 100 years or 200 years and this house will also fall and die. Like that metal may last another 400-500 years, but that will also perish. We don't have a concept of something that cannot perish. Our little intellect cannot comprehend that there can be something without a beginning and without an end. That is what is described here. It has existed for countless eons and it is immeasurably large and it does not decay. It is the source and support of the nectar of immortality and indestructibility, because it is immortal, ever alive, and it is indestructible. It cannot be destroyed. It is the abode of sweetness. Though it is most ancient, it is ever new, like the new moon. Even though it exists from the beginning of creation, it is still new, he says. It is the very center or the heart of the universe. It is unmoving and not shaken even by the forces of cosmic dissolution. So in our language we may think, oh, cosmic dissolution happens by something like a major tsunami that might take over the entire world, which you see in your all Hollywood and Bollywood movies. When the earth is going, or the entire world is going to just perish. So he's saying, if you imagine something like that a cosmic delusion force exists, this is not even shaken by that. This wood apple fruit, which is immeasurably large, is the original source of this creation. Basically, it is the pool of consciousness from which I and you came out. Even when it is fully ripe, it does not fall from its place. It is forever fully ripe, but it does not become overripe. This is so cute. Any fruit from the tree, when it is ripe, it falls off. This Brahman consciousness is ever ripe. Ripe as in, when something is ripe, it is ready to give a seed, right? The Brahman consciousness is constantly giving out seeds. People keep coming out of that pool of consciousness. So that seed of I is always ready to come out. Even the creator Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra and the other gods do not know the origin of this wood apple fruit. No one has seen the seed nor the tree on which this fruit grows. It's just an analogy, okay? There is no real fruit out there. The only thing that can be said about it is that this fruit exists without beginning, without middle and without end, without change and without modification. Basically it is Anadi and Ananta. We've done these words, and it does not change. There is no modification in it. It is what it is. For example, like this electricity or this light which is coming out, it is what it is. It does not change. There's never a change in this light. Like that. even within this fruit, there is no diversity. It is completely full without emptiness. So we think Prakriti came out of the Brahman consciousness, and Prakriti is of different types, different colors, different forms. Though you think there is diversity, but really for the Brahman consciousness, it is not diversity. It is a part of that same consciousness. When Prakriti completely decays, dissolves, it becomes energy. Yeah? And energy cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. Yeah? So basically, it just changes form. And because it changes form, we think there is diversity. But in actuality, energy is just what it is. It is pure energy. Clear? That little form that it takes for a short time, that form changes, but the energy, the crux of it does not change. Clear? It is completely full without emptiness. See, though he keeps saying that it is like space, here he says it is completely full without emptiness. Yeah, that fullness is a quality of consciousness. It is full of energy, and that energy is nothing but that vibrating prana in that pool of consciousness. Yes, that prana gives it its existence, what it is, its true nature. It is the fountain source of all joys and delights, from the delight of an ordinary man to that of the highest of divinities. Thus, this fruit is none other than the manifestation of the energy of infinite consciousness. Yeah, so different forms come out of it, whether it is just an ordinary human being or it is a deva. Deva is also nothing but energy. Yeah, all come out of this one energy of infinite consciousness. Again, the energy of infinite consciousness is the prana here. This energy of the infinite consciousness, without even for a moment abandoning its true nature, has manifested this creation, as it were, by merely willing it in its own intelligence. Just by the power of a desire. That's it. That's how the prana starts moving, and I is generated and comes out of the pool of consciousness, and several I's make up different parts of this creation. All this happened just by a mere willingness. Yeah. In fact, even this, that it will so, is not really true. Even the willing that we are talking about, the desire that we are saying, he's saying it's not true. That itself is Maya. Now this is so difficult to understand, no? First of all, he says there is a desire. And that desire, he says, is not true. Yeah, it's like there is a mirage in the middle of the desert and it is not true. Yeah, but there is a mirage. Just like that. That willingness inside that infinite consciousness manifested into this entire creation. But that willingness is also not true. It's a mirage. The ego sense that is implied in such willing is itself unreal. But out of this have proceeded all the elements and their corresponding subjective senses. It is just a mirage. And in that mirage there is I, ego. Yes, and from that ego comes up you. When there is an I, there is a you. The moment there is Dvaitam, then all other creation is born, and all subjective senses are born, and then the objects of the senses are born. Yeah? So it all starts with that ego sense. Though all this is unreal, it is all like a dream, a mirage. In truth, that energy of the infinite consciousness itself is space, time, natural order, expansion of thought, attraction, repulsion, I-ness, you-ness and itness, above, below, the other directions, the mountains, the firmament and the stars, knowledge and ignorance, all whatever is, was and ever will be. Yeah? Everything that you can think of, everything he says has come out from that. But it is still a dream. In a dream, you and I are sitting and reading the Yoga Vasistha. Yeah, you are in Cincinnati, I am in Chicago. This distinction of space is also in our dream. It is, you are 1 hour ahead, I am 1 hour behind in time. This time also is only a dream. Yeah. This I and you, yeah, and this computer, it, this is all a dream. All this is just a mirage, he says. Yeah? Everything in this creation, yeah? All creatures in this creation, everything exists but in a dream. Yeah? It has all come out of that infinite consciousness, just like a wave, a prana comes up. Yeah? Just like in your dream, you see so many different characters. All this is nothing but the energy of the infinite consciousness. Though it is one, it is conceived of as diverse beings. It is neither one nor many. It is not even it. It is established in reality. It is of the nature of supreme, all-inclusive peace. It is the one immeasurably great cosmic being or self. It is cosmic energy or the nature of cosmic consciousness. Yeah, very simple. This is just a summary of everything that we've done till now. He's just brought up an old story of the wood apple fruit. Yeah. Baki, the rest you have done before. Cool? Can we move ahead? We'll read now, page 265.
I can read.
Okay.
Vasistha continued, "There is yet another parable, O Rama, to illustrate this further. I shall now narrate that to you. There is a great rock which is full of tenderness and affection, which is obvious and ever clearly perceived, which is soft, which is omnipresent and eternal. Within it, countless lotuses blossom. Their petals sometimes touch one another, sometimes not. Sometimes they are exposed, sometimes they're hidden from view. Some face downwards, some face upwards, and some have their roots intertwined. Some have no roots at all. All things exist within it, though they do not. O Rama, this rock is indeed the cosmic consciousness. It is rock-like in its homogeneity. Yet within it, all these diverse features of this universe appear to be. Just as one conceives or imagines different forms within the rock, this universe is also ignorantly imagined to exist in this consciousness. Even if a sculptor creates different forms in the rock, it is still rock. Even so, in the case of this cosmic consciousness, which is homogeneous mass of consciousness, which is a homogeneous mass of consciousness. Even as a solid rock contains potentially diverse figures which can be carved out of it, the diverse names and forms of the creatures of this universe exist potentially in cosmic consciousness. Even as rock remains rock, carved or uncarved, consciousness remains consciousness whether the world appears or not. The world appearance is but an empty expression. Its substance is not but consciousness. In fact, even these manifestations and modifications are but Brahman, the cosmic consciousness, though not in the sense of manifestation or modification. Even this distinction, modification in the sense of modification or any other sense, is meaningless in Brahman. When such expressions are used in relation to Brahman, the meaning is quite different, like water in the mirage. Since the seed does not contain anything other than the seed, even the flowers and the fruits are of the same nature as the seed. The substance of the seed is the substance of subsequent efforts too. Even so, the homogeneous mass of cosmic consciousness does not give rise to anything other than what is in essence. When this truth is realized, duality ceases. Consciousness never becomes unconsciousness. If there is a modification, that too is consciousness. Hence, whatever there may be, wherever and in whatever form, all this is Brahman. All these exist forever in their potential state in the mass of homogeneous consciousness.
Okay. There is yet another parable, O Rama. To illustrate this further, I shall narrate that to you. There is a great rock which is full of tenderness and affection, which is obvious and ever clearly perceived, which is soft, which is omnipresent and eternal. Now, we've been imagining or thinking about the pool of consciousness like an ocean, like a big pool. Yeah, think of it like a big rock. Huge rock, but it's a soft rock. Yeah, it is eternal. Yeah, it is tender. And it has lots of affection. Yeah, it is omnipresent and it is eternal. Yeah. Anyway, in our thinking, rocks seem to be living forever. They seem to be eternal, right? So it's very easy to think of it as a rock. Within it, countless lotuses blossom. Their petals sometimes touch one another, sometimes not. Sometimes they are exposed and sometimes they are hidden from view. Some face downwards, some upwards, and some have their roots intertwined. Some have no roots at all. All things exist within it, though they do not. Yeah. Huge rock. Can you imagine a huge rock? A soft rock. Yeah. A sculptor can carve a rock and make a form out of it, and you can say, oh, that form already existed in the rock before. Right? It isn't something different from the rock. It's just apparently different. Yeah? Finally, it is the rock. So, like that, only all the people, all this creation is nothing but lotuses inside that soft rock in different position, upwards, downwards, sideways. Yeah, but they are all a carving of the rock. They are all but the rock. The entire creation is that. Yeah, he's just helping you imagine something more. Don't just keep thinking of it like an ocean or like space, but you can even think of it as a rock. O Rama, This rock is indeed the cosmic consciousness. It is rock-like in its homogeneity. Yet within it all these diverse creatures of this universe appear to be. Just as one conceives or imagines different forms within the rock, this universe is also ignorantly imagined to exist in this consciousness. Yeah, so the way you can think that, oh, these are different forms, but they are nothing but the rock. Yes, don't, in your imagination, don't see them as separate forms of rock kept outside the rock. Within that huge rock, can you imagine a face? Yeah, it is a part of the rock. Don't separate it from that huge rock. Yeah, like that only. Imagine a huge rock with many faces. Many forms, all on that rock, inside the rock. Yeah, and it is a soft rock. So they are all a part of it. Nothing is separate. Just as one conceives or imagines different forms within the rock, this universe is also ignorantly imagined to exist in this consciousness. Even if a sculptor creates different forms in the rock, it is still rock. Even so, in the case of this cosmic consciousness, which is a homogeneous mass of consciousness. So just like in the rock you see different forms, just like that in the consciousness you see different forms. Even as the solid rock contains potentially diverse figures which can be carved out of it, the diverse names and forms of the creatures of this universe exist potentially in cosmic consciousness. Even as rock remains rock, carved or uncarved, consciousness remains consciousness, whether the world appears or not. The world appearance is but an empty expression. Its substance is not but consciousness. I'll give you another example. Have you been to, in Texas, they have this sand festival where artists from all over the world come and create sand castles. They make different sculptures out of that sand. It lasts only 7 days. It's a 7-day festival, and only for 7 days you can see that sand sculpture. And the full beach from one end to the other end, it's completely full of these sculptures. Finally, it is all sand, no? Yeah, you should go to this festival and go one day before they begin work. You will see it is just plain sand lying on the beach on day 0. On day 1, they start working on it. By day 7, you will see all sculptures, beautiful sculptures throughout the beach. You will be tired walking from one end to the other, and you will not complete seeing all the sculptures there. Yeah. What happens after day 7? They drop everything and they go away. The waves come, they lash onto the beach, and all the sand is gone. Yes? Where was all this sand? Where were all these forms before that day 0? And where did all the forms go after the high tide on whatever day 8? Yeah? Just like that. All forms come up in this consciousness, they stay for those 7 days, and then they dissolve. You think they are all different shapes and sizes. So you start feeling they are different, but they are not. They are all one and the same, just the sand. Yeah? In fact, even these manifestations and modifications are but Brahman, the cosmic consciousness, though not in the sense of manifestation or modification. even this distinction, modification, in the sense of modification or any other sense, is meaningless in Brahman. Yeah, just like that entire beach is full of all the sculptures, but really it's meaningless to say that they are all different and they all have their own existence, an existence of 7 days. At the end of 7 days, everything dissolves. There is nothing left on that beach. Yeah, it is just pure sand, no sculpture. Yeah, so this modification, saying that it is a modification is meaningless, no? Got it? So just like that, he's saying modification is meaningless in Brahman. When such expressions are used in relation to Brahman, the meaning is quite different, like water in the mirage. Since the seed does not contain anything other than the seed, even the flowers and fruits are of the same nature as the seed. The substance of the seed is the substance of the subsequent effects too. Yeah. Again, it's the same. The seed does not contain anything other than the seed. Yeah, the meaning is the same. Everything is just that sand sculptures. Yeah, whether it is a man, it is a donkey, it is a monkey, it is a castle, yeah, or it is a farm, it is a tree, whatever those sculptures are. Yeah, they are nothing but the same sand. So exactly that's the meaning here. The seed does not contain anything other than the seed. Even the flowers and the fruits are of the same nature as the seed. The substance of the seed is the substance of subsequent effects too. So just like that, in your life, if there is some karma that sprouts in the form of people, situations, things, those subsequent effects are also nothing but the same Brahman consciousness. Yes. So really what I'm going through today in life, all my prarabdha are the people, situations and things around me. Correct? And from this prarabdha only agami is going to come. So all prarabdha, all agami, everything, all this is the Brahman consciousness. Yeah? These are the subsequent effects he's talking about. Even so, the homogeneous mass of cosmic consciousness does not give rise to anything other than what it is in essence. When the truth is realized, duality ceases. Yeah? On day 7 on that beach, or day 8 on that beach, when you see that high tide come and wash away all the sculptures, and at the end, after the wave is gone, you just see sand on that beach, you come to the reality. Oh, it is nothing, it is all just sand. So that's what he's saying. Duality ceases when this realization comes. Yeah? Consciousness never becomes unconsciousness. If there is modification, that too is consciousness. Hence, whatever there may be, wherever and in whatever form, all this is Brahman. All these exist forever in their potential state in the mass of homogeneous consciousness. Yeah, you might want to say, oh no, but Prakriti is a modification or a different kind of manifestation of the Brahman consciousness. He says, no, it is the same. Yeah? It might appear to be different. That sculpture of a man standing on that beach in the form of sand might seem to be different than the sand lying at his feet. But the moment the sculpture falls down, all you see is sand. Yeah? So there was no consciousness and unconsciousness here. It is all one. Clear? It is all.
No Prakriti and Purusha also.
No, that also is a part of the dream. Got it?
Prakriti Purusha. Yeah.
Huh.
So it's not, there is nothing like Prakriti and Purusha. It's just all even. That is also imagination.
That is also our imagination. So from that pool of consciousness, when I comes out, that first moment itself is imagination. So after that, everything is imagination. Clear? Yeah. It's like when I put my head on the pillow, close my eyes, go to sleep, and the first dream starts. That first dream itself is imagination. That first dream in our definition is Prakriti and Purusha. Yeah. That itself, that's where the mirage begins. Clear? Now who's going to read page 266?
I can read.
I can read. Oh.
Vasistha continued. Time, space, and other factors in this so-called creation, which is in truth another aspect of the same consciousness, are none other than consciousness. When it is realized that all these are but thoughts and notions, and that the self is the one and indivisible, how then are these regarded as unreal? In the seed there is nothing but the seed, no diversity. At the same time there is the notion of potential diversity of flowers, fruits, supposedly present in the seed. Even so, cosmic consciousness is one, devoid of diversity, yet the universe of diversity is said to exist only in notion. The stone is single. The notion of numerous lotuses arises only in relation to that single stone. Even so, the notion of diversity arises in consciousness without causing diversity. But just as water in mirage is and is not simultaneously, even so, in diversity in relation to the infinite consciousness, all this is indeed Brahman, the infinite consciousness. Even as the notion of the existence of lotuses in the stone does not destroy the stone, Brahman is unaffected by world appearance, which exists as the very nature of Brahman in Brahman. There is no essential difference in truth between Brahman and the world. They are synonyms. When the reality is thus seen, Brahman alone is seen. Even as all that is seen as water in the world is not but hydrogen and oxygen gases, even so the world appearance is but Brahman alone. The one consciousness appears as the mind, the mountains, etc., even as the multicolored feathers and the wings of the peacock are present in the egg of the peacock. The power or the faulty is potentially present in the infinite consciousness. Whatever is now seen as the diverse objects of the universe, if it is seen with the eye of wisdom, the eye that is wisdom, then only Brahman or the infinite consciousness will be seen. But that is non-dual, though apparently diverse. Just like the notion of diverse in the fluid in the peacock's egg, the notion of Brahman and the world is therefore both dual and non-dual. That which is the substratum for all these notions of unity and diversity, that is the supreme state. The infinite consciousness pervades the entire universe, and the universe exists in the infinite consciousness. The relationship is one of the diversity and non-diversity. Just as the numerous parts of the peacock are in the one egg substance, Where is the diversity in all this?
Okay. Time, space, and other factors in this so-called creation, which is in truth another aspect of the same consciousness, are none other than consciousness. Yeah, we already did this. I explained time, I explained space, Cincinnati, Chicago, yeah, Eastern time zone and Central time zone. So all this is nothing but consciousness itself. When it is realized that all these are but thoughts and notions, and that the self is one and indivisible, how then are these regarded as unreal? If it is one and the same, why? Why does it appear unreal to me? Or why does it appear as duality? And why are you calling it unreal? It appears real to me. Yeah. In the seed, there is nothing but the seed, no diversity. At the same time, there is the notion of potential diversity of flowers, fruit, supposedly present in the seed. Even so, cosmic consciousness is one, devoid of diversity. Yet the universe of diversity is said to exist only in notion. Have you seen seeds? Yeah? A seed in future can become a very tall tree, can have fruit, can have beautiful flowers and 1,000,000 leaves. Yeah? But right now, if it is in the seed form, let's imagine this is a seed. Right now, if it is in the seed form, where are the flowers, fruits, leaves? Nothing is there, but still all of it is in this, correct? This has the potentiality in 2 years, 20 years, whatever, 200 years to reach that 1,000,000 leaves and fruit and produce another 1,000,000 seeds like these. Correct? All that potentiality exists in this seed. So it is and it is not. You'll agree to that? Right? So the potentiality is, the whole tree is in this and still it is not. Because I can't see it right now. Both possibilities are there. Yeah, something which you work with, you see. Yeah, those who work in the garden see it. Yeah. So just like that is this consciousness. Exactly like that. Everything comes out of it. All diversity comes out of it. Yeah. It is real and it is unreal. Both. Clear? That is what he's saying. Just like that, cosmic consciousness is one, devoid of diversity. Yet the universe of diversity is said to exist only in notion. Clear? The stone is single. The notion of numerous lotuses arises only in relation to that single stone. We are talking about the rock on the previous page, that big rock and lotuses inside, carved inside. So just like that, the notion of diversity arises in consciousness without causing diversity. Yeah? If I have a huge rock, in that only on one side I carve a lotus looking down, a lotus looking up, a lotus looking this way, all on that rock. Yes, it might appear diverse, but it is still rock. So it is just a notion, he's saying. All these numerous lotuses, they arise in that, but it is just the notion of diversity. It's not really diverse because it is just rock. But just as water and mirage is and is not simultaneously, even so is diversity in relation to the infinite consciousness. Another example is mirage. In a mirage, you see water, you can see an oasis, you can see a beautiful palm tree there, but when you go there, there is nothing. So you can say water is and it is not. Both, right? Just like that. Yeah. This creation is and still it is not. It is just the consciousness. All this is indeed Brahman, the infinite consciousness. Even as the notion of the existence of lotuses in the stone does not destroy the stone, Brahman is unaffected by world appearance, which exists as the very nature of Brahman in Brahman. Understood? The lotuses are carved in the rock. Yeah, so they are the rock. You cannot say that lotuses are separate from the rock. Like that only, you cannot say this creation is different from the Brahman consciousness. Yeah. So you cannot say that the Brahman consciousness was destroyed or created. Yeah. Even that we say, no, Brahman consciousness split into Prakriti and Purusha. Does it really split? It's just metaphorically spoken about like that to be able to convey the meaning. Nothing is splitting here. Clear? There is no essential difference in truth between Brahman and the world. They are synonyms. When the reality is thus seen, Brahman alone is seen. So when you meditate and raise your consciousness to that level, where you can see that Brahman consciousness, that Purusha is here and it is there and there and there and there. Oh, it is the same Purusha everywhere. Then you come to this realization, what Purusha? It is that Brahman consciousness only. That I also that came out of that pool of consciousness, I am labeling that Purusha. But really that is also a dream. It is all but one pool, one single Brahman consciousness. Even as all this is seen as water in the world is not but hydrogen and oxygen gases, even so the world appearance is but Brahman alone. Yeah. Water is nothing but H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. Yeah. But really, he is saying it is just an appearance. A breakdown is just an appearance. It is all Brahman. The one consciousness appears as the mind, the mountains, even as the multicolored feathers and the wings of the peacock are present in the egg of the peacock. Yeah, the same concept that we spoke about a seed. Now imagine this is the egg of a peacock. Yeah, all those beautiful feathers, the different colors, yeah, the beautiful peacock and its probable baby peacock, yeah, or baby peahen. Yeah, inside the baby is inside the peahen. All are in this one little egg. Yeah. So first he gave the example of a seed. Now it is peacock. This power or faculty is potentially present in the infinite consciousness. Whatever is now seen as the diverse objects of the universe, if it is seen with the eye of wisdom, the eye that is wisdom, then only Brahman or the infinite consciousness will be seen. Basically, he is saying when you go deeper into meditation and attain that Swabhava Jnana, yes, that self-realization, a third eye opens up. That is the eye of wisdom. You really don't have a third eye opening up here. Yeah. It is just said, it is just symbolic that this Agnya Chakra throbs, no, in meditation. When you are absolutely in the deep silence, you experience a throbbing here and at the top of the head. So that is just a symbolic is that it is the third eye. And when that eye of wisdom opens up, you realize, oh, everything is Brahman. Everything is Brahman. Yeah? For that is non-dual, though apparently diverse, just like the notion of diversity in the fluid in the peacock's egg. The notion of Brahman and the world is therefore both dual and non-dual. Yeah, so he's saying there is both Dvaitam and Advaitam. Yeah, Advaitam till where I see everything is Brahman consciousness. There is no difference. I am in Advaitam. Yeah, but if I can still see everything as Purusha and Prakriti, Purusha and Prakriti, Purusha and Prakriti, then I'm seeing Dvaitam. Clear? Till my third eye has not opened up, I will be in Dvaitam, which is duality. The moment the third eye opens up, it's not that the forms will vanish. It's not that the computer will vanish and become energy. No. But I will start recognizing that it is nothing but energy. Yeah, the form will still be there. But everything will appear like energy. Yeah? Not to the physical eye, to the third eye, yeah, the mind's eye. Yeah? That which is the substratum for all these notions of unity and diversity, that is the supreme state. The infinite consciousness pervades the entire universe, and the universe exists in the infinite consciousness. The relationship is of diversity and non-diversity, just as the numerous parts of the peacock are in the one egg substance. Where is the diversity in all this? Yeah, basically it is all in the head. It is all in your dream. The moment you wake up from the dream, you realize, oh, this was unreal. Yeah, so all those things that I saw in my dream, all those beautiful things are all suddenly gone. Yeah. So there is really no diversity, but it is very difficult for us to see it because we are completely fogged by Maya. Here, these 3 pages was nothing but like summary of what we have done so far. Yeah. Any question?
I do have one. See, the seed and the egg, they both are they have potential, right? To become like a tree or like a peacock.
Yes, yes.
But there is like a effort to be taken, with somebody, planting, then it will become like a tree, right?
Yeah.
So there is some effort is needed to become realize that.
Huh.
So I'm thinking that we also need to put our effort to realize that. So, unless you don't put any effort, so you don't realize that okay, there is a potentiality there.
So the only effort really that you have to put in is in going deeper into the silence of the self. Yeah, going into the silence of the Purusha. The Brahman consciousness is I. I am the Brahman consciousness. My problem has become that I have identified with this external Prakriti. Yeah? Suppose in a dream, you are seeing a dream, or forget a dream if that is difficult to understand. If you are doing a drama on stage, okay, you have been given the role of something. Yeah? You've been given the role to behave like Amitabh Bachchan. You start walking like him, talking like him, you think you are Amitabh Bachchan. Yeah? And then what happens after that little play or act is over, you continue to behave like Amitabh Bachchan. Yeah? The effort is to stop behaving like Amitabh Bachchan. Are you seeing what I'm saying? Yeah, we are lost in this role playing that we have been given. And all Vasistha is saying, now drop the role playing. Now you've realized, now I'm telling you. So many pages I've been telling you again and again. Yeah? But it's very difficult for us to drop this role of father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, friend. Yeah? Till the time I don't drop these external roles, I will be standing on that stage. My job is to get off that stage. Yeah? Get out of that, that entire drama and just experience the peace within. Yeah? Our problem is we think there is no outside of this stage. But there is a silence. Yeah? Noise is not you. And the stage is just noise. Get out of the stage and just go into that silence. And recognize that the mind will not like that silence. The mind will try to pull you out of that silence, talking about how interesting the stage is, how interesting the people are, and the characters of other people around you that are playing their roles. Yeah? It will constantly talk and get you out from that silence. The only effort that you have to put is to drop this noise of the mind. Bas. Drop that noise of the mind, go deeper and deeper and deeper into the silence of the self. You will experience what Vasistha is talking about. The third eye will open. Yeah? But it won't happen unless you are ready to let go of this stage. So only one homework for you today. Are you ready to let go of this drama and the stage around you? Yeah? You're holding on like this tight. Both the fists are like tight. Yeah? Vasistha is saying, loosen your fists, open it up. This is the only way. You ask yourself, are you ready to do that? Yeah. Then only will you experience that silence in meditation. Any other question? No? All good? Okay. Then I'll see you next week, guys. Jai Gurudev.